Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Lees and I'm the host for the Recipe to Success podcast. And each week we get to speak to everyday people and share their stories through wealth, health and business and show you that their recipe to success can be achieved by absolutely anyone. This week I got the chance to speak to Anthony Scott Logan. He is the founder of Noir. He shares his story from the days at school where he suffered badly from dyslexia and being a college and university dropout, to then starting his own business where he got to work with the likes of Snoop Dogg, which then eventually failed. He then had to go back to the drawing board and start all over again. I'd like to thank this week's sponsor, collab.ae. Make sure you go check them out on Instagram. You can also find the Recipe to Success podcast on YouTube, Soundcloud and Spotify. Anthony Scott Logan, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I feel like when we first got introduced, I was like, is this guy an actor? It's like, it's a proper screenplay name.
Got to do the three names. They're all first names as well. It's terrible.
do you throw them in all the time?
No. It's really weird actually. So like half my friends, nearly all my friends call me Logan, always have, and then all clients call me Anthony. Yeah. And then it just kind of like mixes in between. And a lot of times I meet people and they'll be like, is your name Logan or is it Anthony? And I'm like, just choose. Choose whichever one you want.
You've just landed here in Dubai. How's it going, first of all?
Yeah, it's been intense, to say the least. So I've been sort of travelling around Europe for the last 5 months, which is slightly controversial in the pandemic, but it's been good. It's been a great experience, and I've always wanted to come to Dubai, and I spoke to a lot of friends about, is this a good move? Is this the right place for business? And it just felt like everything has synced up right for me, and so far it's been incredible. Like what a city, really inspiring, great people. So yeah.
Before we get into the podcast, like just give us a brief who you are, what you do, and just give everyone a bit more of an idea of kind of a bit more about Anthony Scott Logan.
Okay, so I'm 33 years old.
Yeah.
I run a company called Noir Agency. We've been going for nearly 5 years now.
Okay.
Before that, I started out in the business world with a fashion magazine. That was my first project, fashion and lifestyle magazine called La Vida.
Yeah.
I did that for a couple of years, exited that, and then I joined quite a well-known startup you might have heard of called Pretty Little Thing. I was their third employee.
Okay.
So I learned, incredible lot from being there, amazing experience. Left that after, I think it was about 2.5 years. Freelanced, worked with like Snoop Dogg and some random mix of clients, helping like young entrepreneurs start up brands.
How did that work? Because you got creating brands and then working with brands and then Snoop Dogg.
So I guess I have to go back a little bit here, but years and years ago, 100 years ago, I used to be a DJ, and how I kind of got into this industry is I used to design flyers for my own events, and then a lot of other people want me to design flyers for theirs, which kind of transitioned into why don't I throw my own events? So we did, named it La Vida, and then that transitioned into why don't we turn one of these events into a magazine, which transitioned into La Vida magazine. So it's each thing has kind of fed into each other.
Why did you skip that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of things, so I just sometimes forget. But each thing, you start out, nothing. I don't really have any business experience at all. So I've really just learned like on the job, and you make hundreds of mistakes. But it's it's been the best way. For me, school was just trying to remember stuff, and then doing an exam and saying how much did you remember. And when I was about 17, they figured out that I was actually like really dyslexic. So I'd gone through school like not really understanding a lot of stuff, not being able to retain any of the information, and then figured out that I was dyslexic. So school for me was just, I absolutely hated it. I didn't want to sit in a classroom. I wanted to be out, like playing with my friends, having fun, and I loved like making things. And we just weren't doing that at school. But then since leaving school, I absolutely love learning. Like I love reading. I will sit on YouTube for hours, like and just reading articles on Medium and pretty much anything. If it's at the moment I'm learning Spanish, like I just love learning lots of things, but I think it was just the way that education was set up in school was just not for me. I was more hands-on, and I enjoyed like the coursework side of stuff, but just hate exams, hate studying to remember stuff.
If you could cut out a lesson at school, what would it have been?
Majority of them, to be honest with you. I did enjoy like science and a little bit of English and poetry and things like that, but I think it was more the setup that was wrong. And I think like the STEM subjects, I don't think it's like a one size fits all. So people learn in lots of different ways, and it doesn't work the way that the system is built at the moment. It's kind of like, right, everyone open up these textbooks and everyone, follow what I write on the board, and other people are not going to be on the same levels. And now careers are not the same. So it doesn't work anymore. Like I wish I'd learnt about how to manage money, or how to be more resilient, handling situations and stuff. So, and you have to learn these things in life, and you kind of come out of school and you think that you know a fair amount of stuff, and you're like, shit, I feel like I know nothing after. So I think it's you need to spend. They need to rethink the model, and I think if you look at like Sweden and a few other countries around there, they've really thought about different like levels of school. So you'll have like older students learning with younger students, and they're trying different things out. But I think we need to kind of work out what people enjoy doing and let them do more of that, because that's how you enjoy learning, right? If you're going to school every day and you hate the subjects, you're never going to learn. You're going to end up exactly like me, coming out of school going, I learned nothing, I don't really have any qualifications, and then having to really just start again.
What did you leave school with?
A couple of GCSEs.
You beat me.
Luckily, I did business studies, and they'd launched this thing called GNVQ, which was like, I think it was 4 GCSEs, and I just really enjoyed business studies, and the teacher was great because he kind of just let us do whatever we want. So, maybe that's the right way to learn, but we said like, build a business and think about how you'd market it, and right now we're going to look at the figures, and so that I loved, and I came out of it really well. And he spent so much time with me because I think he realised I struggled in a lot of areas to like the comprehension side of it, but it wasn't the same with the other teachers that I had. And I know school is very different now.
And how was it like family life? Did the parents put much stress on you to do well at school, or emphasise on sports, or try and encourage you?
No, I'm really lucky in that sense. So my mum is kind of the breadwinner in my family, and she's always been like, go after your dreams kind of thing. And my dad always had like 2 jobs, work night, so he's like a real hustler. So between them, like mum more academic, dad more hustler, they were just like, just keep at it, like just try lots of sports, try lots of things, and just see what you like, and whatever it is, like we're right behind you. So that was good. I think the only thing that, because we were like, I grew up basically in Lincolnshire on this like tiny little farm where everyone knows everyone, and there's only probably like 50 people there anyway. So it was, in terms of like long-term dreams, my parents were always kind of like, no, you'll just get a job around the corner like your friend did. It wasn't like, right, go off and travel the world and explore. So I was always trying to break out of something. So when I was 21, I kind of was like, right, I hate this. I hate this town, this village. I need to get out of here. I feel trapped. And I moved to Manchester. And my dad was from Manchester, and I was originally born there. So I thought, right, I need to go and figure out, what this city is about. Very similar to kind of this move that I've just done here. I'd call it, a chapter turning. And then when I got to Manchester, it's kind of like, right, big buildings that I've never seen before, and there's fast cars, and there's businesses and lots of different people from different places, and you learn very quickly. So I think moving around helps a lot.
So you obviously left school. What did you do then? Was it straight into the working world?
No, so I went to college. So I was like 16, so it's like a sixth form kind of college. And had to do my GCSEs again because I'd failed them, and that's basically the process. And then I took photography, which was kind of like my first taste of the creative world, and IT. So I was doing like a GCSE / AS level. So they kind of did like both of them in 1 year.
IT must have been a bit like...
IT was just boring then, to be honest, because it was kind of like, this is how to use a Word document, this is how to use Excel. I mean, we'd already all learned all this anyway, so it just felt a bit pointless. It wasn't like computing today. And photography was just, I really enjoyed it because it was just complete freedom. There's no structure, it's kind of like, create something and then explain to me how you made it look like that. And if you explained it well, then you get a good mark. And that, because it's so subjective. And I really enjoyed that, and that was pure just hands-on, like getting in the dark room, going out old SLR cameras and kind of figuring stuff out for yourself.
Do you feel that's kind of been an influence to your creativity now?
In some ways, yes, especially the going back and figuring out why you've done things in a certain way.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time they said, you know, you need to tell us why you did it that way. And I'm like, well, I had no idea because I just took a picture. So then I like tried to make up a story for why it was that way. But then by doing that, the next time I was like, I'm going to write a story first for what I want it to be like, and then started thinking more like that in terms of a process, which is basically strategy nowadays. But I just didn't know that at the time. So after that, I quit that because I like to quit stuff. So I quit college, and then my friend convinced me to go to like this art college, and they said, look, with your work, so I was doing a lot of freelance stuff at the time then, just like figuring stuff out, photography, bit of design, birthday flyers, a takeaway menu, you know, things like that. And the college/university let me in to do a degree without any A-levels, just on some kind of like special example thing. I don't know how I got in, just bullshitting my way in. Yeah, completely. And I went to 2 lectures and I just hated it, because he was talking about the history of art, and I wanted to do like design work, and I was hoping he was going to be like a graphic designer, and he wasn't, and he didn't. He said, you know, I'm teaching graphic design, but it's not really my forte. I'm more of an art teacher. So I quit that as well. And I just thought, you know, my mum absolutely killed me at this point. She's like, what are you doing? You've got this amazing opportunity. You're obviously talented in this area. So then after that, I decided, right, I just want to earn money, and you know what it's like. I was 18 years old, like you want to have some money in your pocket so you can go out, go on dates, all the rest of it.
And that led into the first venture.
Well, no, so firstly I actually went to the NHS because I was like, well, I'd just go and work anywhere, and I went and worked for the NHS as a graphic designer, which was so boring, as you can imagine. So you get like these strict guidelines and you've got to follow them. And
you just love following the boring stuff.
So I just did it as like, let's just try it out. And I stayed there for maybe 6 months, and then I was like, right, this is not what I want to do in my life at all. But it paid me quite well, because no one really understood graphic design in the NHS at this point. So I kind of created my own role and was like moving up the career ladder within it. But after that 6 months, I was like, right, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to make nightclub flyers and be a DJ and travel around the world. And obviously that didn't turn out too well.
Where did you travel on your DJs?
Pretty much to Leeds. That's about as far as I got. So
there's me. I was thinking maybe this is where the basketball story is coming in.
No, I wish. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I was an alright DJ. Leeds, I got to meet lots of people, and then I started throwing these events. And you know, the great thing, and everyone I meet who's been a promoter in their life, they will tell you that it's like you build your network from it. So there are clients today that came to parties that I threw when I was 21 that will pop up, and they're now like a doctor, and they're like, hey, please can you help me? I've just started this new venture.
That's so good.
And I'm like, wow, what version do you remember of me before we start the conversation?
Exactly.
So I was a bit of a party boy back in the day. But great experience, learned like all the sales skills, you know, networking skills. Moving on from the story, after doing events, I just got to a point where I was like, this is not like a sustainable lifestyle. I kind of need to grow up now. So I think it was by the time I was 23, 24, that's when I had started the fashion magazine, and I thought, right, I own a business now. And I just made literally every mistake you could make. And I just approached it all the completely wrong way. So I went in like most young guys do, thinking that they were like a boss. So, I mean, that's terrible, because you're not a boss. You can't be given a title. You're just someone who has a business card, right? So, you know, I remember even like the way that we arranged the office. I had 2 business partners, and at the time, like, I was absolutely broke, and I met these 2 guys, one Canadian, one from Liverpool, and that both their parents were quite well off, and I thought, this is a great idea. Let's team up with 2 guys who've got money, and that will make me money. Absolutely wrong, because they had no passion for hard work whatsoever, because they'd kind of grown up with money around them, whereas I was like, I will work 20 hours a day, please, just like hopefully I can not be poor anymore, you know. And so I did that for like 2 years, and even the way we arranged the office, I remember, and it haunts me to this day, we were like, right, directors sit at the top here, and then, you know, everyone else is over there. And I'm like, I would never ever do that in a million years now, but we thought we were the boss. And we weren't. We were just 3 guys who had no idea what we were doing. So I kind of learned all those lessons quite fast about how not to run a business. So by the time I basically said to them both, I feel like I'm doing absolutely everything in this business, and we're not making any money either. So I need to leave. That was after like 2 years. So I sold my shares back to them, not for a lot of money. I think it was like 10k or something, and then bounced. And then that's when I joined Pretty Little Thing. So they lasted, I think, another year after I left. Maybe brought out like maybe two more issues, and then it just collapsed, which is really sad because when you first build something, it's like your baby. So even though I'd left, I still wanted it to do really well. But yeah, it disappeared. But it was a great memory. My mum and dad still have the magazines, and they're still proud of it. So
of course.
And I got to interview some like amazing people too.
Yeah.
Like I met Meghan Markle, who was on Suits, who became the princess.
No way.
Got rid of being the princess now, I think.
Yeah.
So I met her, interviewed her. I met like Neo, Mark Ronson, like a bunch of cool people through the magazine. So that was a great experience.
That's wicked.
And then I also met Snoop Dogg, which was how that ended up leading on to doing a lot of the design work for his events, which is really cool.
When did Noir come around?
I hit 27 and I hit a bit of a moment in my life. So I'd been freelancing for quite a while after Pretty Little Thing, and trying to like keep up with my friends. And I feel like everybody kind of goes through this phase in their life, especially nowadays, where social media and the life that you put out doesn't always match up to like what you have in your bank. And I kind of got myself in a bit of debt, trying to basically live a life that I couldn't afford to live, like being completely honest with it. I actually did like a full transparent story on my Instagram. If you ever get a chance, have a look on that. Just, gloves off, this is the problem that a lot of young people can make today. So I got into a point where I was in about 10 grand debt, and I was feeling like I was just living a lie. I was like going away on holidays I couldn't afford, and buying clothes that I didn't need to impress people that I don't even know. It was just ridiculous. And eventually I got to a point where I sat down with one of my best friends and I just said, I'm so fed up. Like I don't feel like I'm moving forward in my life. I feel like everybody thinks I'm successful and I don't feel successful, so I really need to take note of this and start again. So my best friend gave me some really good advice. He was like, just go home, go back to your parents, like reset, start again. So I went back there for 6 months. Yeah, he's one of my best friends for life. But I went back there for 6 months. And at the time I went back as well, I just found out that my Spanish girlfriend had been cheating on me. So that was like, a real smack to the face. So I'm like, okay, fine, that's fine. Because at least I know, that was not sustainable anyway.
Real talk though, because I think, I think guys always have this perception of being tough. Like, there is, you can lose your job, you can do bad, you can lose a deal, whatever. But when your girlfriend cheats on you, it's a kick in the teeth.
It hurts.
It's I've had it previously before. Do you know what? When you lose a deal, you kind of turn around and go, what could I have done better? But like when you kind of say, well, what could I have done better? Because I am just me.
This is it.
But when you get smacked, so how did you kind of come back from then? Did it take you a lot, or did you kind of wake up in the morning and go, right, I'm ready, let's go?
6 months to really turn it around, if I'm honest with you. But at first 2 weeks, I pretty much just went and sat in my bed and felt sorry for myself. So I remember after about 2 weeks, I thought, you are pathetic. Get up now, like sort your life out. This is not who you are. You know? And I'm not like that. I don't like to give up, and I don't care how many times I've been knocked down. I'm always wanting to give it another go. So I remember I got up and I'm walking downstairs and I hear my mum and my grandma basically saying I'm a failure in life, and they were like, what is he going to do? And I love my mum and my grandma, my dad, and my whole family to pieces. And I know they weren't saying it like in any bad way at all. But hearing it absolutely cut through me. But it was the wake-up call that I needed, because I thought, absolutely not. I am not being a failure within the family. I have a lot of pride in myself, and we're a very close family. And I'm like, this is not me. I'm not doing this. So I kind of went upstairs, felt like crap, got a shower, came downstairs, wrote like a list. And I made myself some rules, and the rules were no alcohol whatsoever for 6 months. Clouds your judgment. Let's just keep straight, keep focused on what I'm doing. Any distractions, delete them. Social media, friends that I don't need to speak to, girls, everyone, just get rid of everything and just focus on fixing yourself first. Got up every morning at 7 a.m, went for a run, went to the gym, got like a big tub of protein, got my dad to buy me it because I literally had no money, and just trained, read books, and just started like thinking about how I was going to change my life. And I kept that up consistently for like 3 months. And then I was like, right, okay, I feel great now. I felt like the best I'd ever felt. I felt my mind was really clear. So after that, I was like, right, okay, what's the plan, you know? So I start looking at loads of different ideas for businesses, and then I come back to the main thing, which is I have a talent with what I'm doing. People have paid me money throughout my life for branding, for ideas, for creativity. So just stick to what you know and give it one last go, like really go at it this time. So I kept reading. I remember my same friend Steve said to me, if you read all the books in your industry, I guarantee you'll know most. You know a lot more than what the majority of people do, because the majority of people haven't read all the books in their industry. They just know what they know, and they comfortably like grow each year, but they never read everything. So he's like, right, go read everything there is on branding until you are like an absolute expert at it. So I was like, okay, and I still do this today.
Yeah.
I want to learn everything. I want to be ahead of everyone else in it. So I did that, and then I started to contact like people who I thought that I could help their brand. So I'd like look at their stuff, do like a free audit, and then say, give me a chance. I'll even do it for free. If you like it, pay for it. If you don't, whatever. And that's kind of how I started to build up some clients. So I'm doing this from like the house I grew up in as a kid, feeling like a complete failure and starting again. But it really like humbled me, and especially the fact that I'd been putting out, this life that I really couldn't afford to live. I started being a bit more honest with myself. I'm like, right, okay, you are broke, but you're talented at what you do, and you decided you're not giving up. So let's just put everything into that, forget everyone else. So I did that for about 4 months, and over them 4 months, I've come up with an idea for a name, which was Noir. I wanted it to be like a high-end premium brand and very minimal, so I spent a bit of time like crafting this new logo, draw about 100 out, and then came to the final one like you do, and just started approaching people, started to work on like the very basics of a website and a bit of a portfolio. And I decided that I didn't want to be a freelancer. I'd done that before. You're not really ever building anything as a freelancer. I needed to build like something with purpose. So an agency was, the obvious direction to go in. So that takes me to about September, which comes up to like the 6 months. So I've got some clients, I've got a website, I'm feeling good. I've got some money in the bank now. I've nearly paid off the majority of the debt from the work that had come in, and my parents are now like happy because I'm happy. And I didn't care about that girl either, which is the main point.
Yeah.
And so I decided, right, okay, you're armed, you're ready. There's no time like tomorrow. Go back to Manchester. Round 2. Let's give it another go, kind of thing.
Learn from all the wrongdoings.
Yeah, but as a completely different person, not as an egotistical, I'm a businessman or the rest of it. Just as a, do you know what? I'm going to start slow. I'm still not going to focus on girls and partying and everything else. I'm just going to focus on building this business. So I literally cut myself off from everyone, to the point that my mates actually messaged me and they were like, you need to see your friends, But I just was like super focused for the first 6 months. And luckily enough, I kind of met this guy who became my business partner, Alex, and we had like a similar upbringing, and he was like he'd just left an agency, and he had quite a bit of experience in account management, and I felt like I needed like an extra pair of hands, and he was brilliant. So both of us, we worked from this little co-working space. Remember, we had 4 interns. We paid them pretty much nothing at the time, which I wouldn't do now, but you had to do then. And we lived off about £400 a month each. Tiny little apartment that we shared, made sandwiches every day. We went to H&M and bought tops and printed Noir on them, similar to this, because we thought, right, I can't afford to buy clothes all the time, but if you're going to buy any, let's just put a logo on it. It makes you feel proud. We can give them to the interns. There's we're a walking billboard. When we walk around, people ask what Noir is. So yeah, we did that for 6 months. After 6 months, we get in our first office. Suddenly, we've gone from charging people maybe £300-400 to make them like basically a logo and a bit of a website, and not really making any profit at all. To we're charging like 10,000-15,000, and we're like, how did this happen? But we just kept hustling, and that was it. Just working every day that we could, working 7 days a week, burning ourselves out. Like, I would not recommend it to anyone. It's the worst idea ever. But at the time, it's just what you want to do, and if you get quite addicted to it, you just want to build. I'm paying my rent every month. The debt is completely gone now.
That's good.
And we're winning work, and we're now at the point where we're starting to hire people, and we've got this like tiny little office, and we've got our logo on the wall, and it all feels extremely surreal. And then we started to get like an extreme amount of growth at this point. So more than we could handle. We had spoken to someone, and they basically said to us, why don't you like try and get a bit of press about what you're doing? You're kind of known as like Manchester's secret at the moment. You're doing all this work for all these different brands, but it's like, you know, through whispers, like you're not doing much marketing or whatever. So we really doubled down on Instagram, and lucky enough, Instagram actually contacted me and said, would you like to come to California? This is how basketball comes in.
Wow.
Would you like to come to California? We want to do a feature on Noir for Instagram for business. So I'm like, this is fake, because it was an email. I'm like, this can't be true.
Wow.
Like, this is insane.
Seriously?
And they just said, we really like your aesthetic.
So had you done any? Did you do any like advertising on Instagram? Or
so in the beginning, what I did, we had no content, and I think this is like a lot of people when they first start out, right? So I was like, right, we're kind of like a minimal, like monochromatic brand. So I just found these really cool images of like architecture and just things that were, you know, like minimal, black and white. And just kept posting them, and then like quotes about design and just whatever I could think of. But it looked really cool. The aesthetic of the Instagram got us quite a few clients because they were like, oh, we just really like how you're doing it. There was no work on there, you know, because we hardly had any clients, and we were starting to post a little bit of work. And then we built it up to, I think at that point, about 10,000 followers on Instagram. And yeah, we just, I don't know, maybe the way we were doing it, and throughout as well, one of my friends, I'd watched him build a business, so I'd seen that they didn't get all that behind the scenes stuff enough when they first started. So
you got a lot
when
of that.
we started, we did loads. And
It's
what
so
do you know what it does is it actually gives you a sense of, I know I'm going to need this one day because I know we're going to go somewhere. So it can feel really weird at first because you're like taking a picture of you like on a desk or on a bench, which is where we were working in the co-working space. And you kind of feel a bit stupid at first. But now looking back on it, I love them images, you know, because they're like, oh, that's when we were really like in it, you know, like grinding. So yeah, Instagram invited us over to California. Went over there, like met the team over there. It was like so incredible.
Cool, which game did you watch?
I saw Golden State Warriors against the Lakers, so it was like one of the best games you could possibly see. And I actually, weirdly enough, I started dating a girl from San Francisco, so I was like going back and forth there, trying to win work. So my life had like rapidly changed from like broke guy back in the countryside to suddenly that was my first ever time in America as well. So I'm like in America, and I'm you know, meeting new people there and getting inspired.
But so burning, sorry to interrupt there, but like burning the candle at both ends, you mentioned about it. Now, it's not something that's sustainable for long term.
Not at all.
But I definitely believe that when you put in that hard work, like the universe rewards you massively, and you talking about that and coming from where you are to that point in your life, it's almost like it was like a gift from someone saying, you know, well done, like
it definitely feels like that. I've always got like I'm always a little bit skeptical of you know, this kind of like destiny thing. What I do know is if you repeatedly put in hard work and smart work, because it's not working enough is working alone is not enough by far. But if you keep putting in the work and you don't give up, then you're going to get somewhere, because you know you're not going to get anywhere if you don't do anything, right? And if you don't take it seriously, which I didn't when I was younger, I did not move. You know, I thought I was progressing, I wasn't progressing. So getting your head down and focusing is amazing. I've later learned that was quite self-destructive in a lot of ways. So it might have worked, but I wouldn't recommend it because it also cut me off from my friends, cut me off from everyone, and I was a bit of a loner, to be honest. Like I was just obsessed with the business and working, and I was probably a little bit too obsessed with it. Whereas I feel like a lot better now. I'm not like that. You know, I can take a better look at the business. But it did get me there, so I can't say anything. So
you say that. I'm going to have to not disagree with you, but encourage anyone watching this that this is a good path to follow. Because tell us now. Okay, we'll come back to Noir, but tell us now what you're in the process of doing. You've been traveling for how long?
5 months.
5 months.
Yeah.
I know so many people that would be screaming if they said, Danny, if I get the same results as what Logan's got, you know, I would 100% run over a mile of broken glass. So I think, like you say, whilst it was at the time low,
I can understand that.
You're
do
out
you know what
in
it
the
is?
world.
I would say to anyone that there are so many distractions in life, especially now with social media and stuff.
Ding,
ding. Just delete them apps. Like you don't need them. If you focus on your work and building something, then you'll have amazing results. but you'll also have even better results if you take a bit of time out for yourself. Now, I didn't do that, and eventually I did burn out, and it caused me a lot of problems because I wasn't thinking straight, and I made a lot of stupid mistakes at that time when I was doing it. So it is important to have the rest, but in the beginning, like, it's all or nothing. Like, I'm not going to lie to anyone about it. Like, and it still is all or nothing. I still wake up and I'm still got to have exactly the same mentality. Like, there's nothing in the bank account, and I just need to grind, and you know, that's the only way that you win. Because someone else, if you don't, someone else is thinking like that, and that's the key thing.
Well, that's exactly what I was literally about to follow that point up with. Is, you know, the second you start resting, someone's going to swoop in and take your client.
Yeah, and rightly so. You know, that's the way the world works.
Yeah, that's
you know,
you got to keep the competition going.
Definitely. But so the rest allows you to make smarter decisions, which means you will get there even quicker. Took me a really long time, and I still wouldn't consider myself successful. I still think there's like a billion things that I want to do. Because I think success is like such a weird thing, because we always talk about it like it's a journey, like it's somewhere you're going to get, but I don't actually think it's that at all. Everyone I've ever spoken to who is successful says to me, well, I'm not at the top of the ladder yet, so when do you get there? I think success is the journey of bettering yourself year on year on year on year, like becoming a better person, becoming more knowledgeable, not reacting to situations, like just becoming a better person in general.
I was listening to a podcast with a guy called Chris Wills, and he was interviewing Ollie Ollerton, I believe his name is, from, you know, the SAS stuff that they do on Channel 4. And one of the things that he said was, I was constantly chasing this dream of fulfillment. And then he realised that, well, hang on, take a step back. And sometimes that fulfillment is not necessarily with just work. Sometimes it's helping other people. Sometimes it's doing something for charity. And I think that collectively, when you have that time to take a step back and look around, enjoy time with your friends, you then have that sense of fulfillment. And I think when you have that sense of fulfillment is when you start to get to the top of the ladder. And let's jump into Noir then. So we obviously have gathered, you help brands, but what's the full kind of cycle offering that you guys do?
I would class us as like a brand marketing agency. So perfect kind of clients for us, and the main people that we speak to most days is people starting up a business. So the first part of that is really like immersing ourselves into like what a brand is about. I think a lot of people, you know, we see brands, and I think the education around branding is so much better than it used to be, because I used to have to go in and pitch what branding was before I could even sell branding to people, because people just thought it was a logo. Now, I mean, now we know, like, because of products like Apple, that, you know, a brand is how it makes you feel. It's like how you talk about it. It's everything it's connected to, all the touch points. So we really help people, I would say, kind of find something special about their product or brand, and then allow them to articulate that into the world in a really simple way that impacts people. Now, that sounds a lot easier than it is, but we all have great ideas, right? And when you're trying to put this together, it can be quite confusing, because you look at all your competitors and you go, well, let's just sound like they sound, right? Or let's sound slightly like them but a little bit different. But that's not right. It's kind of like being a human being. You have to find your own personality matched up with your own values, your vision for what you predict the future is going to be like, so how the landscape of your industry is going to work, and then what mark you're going to put onto the world and how you can articulate that back. So first stage, we kind of really immerse ourselves into the people, the places, the culture, everything about the business, the stakeholders, and then once we've done that, we kind of create like a defining idea, like a brand strategy of like what that brand is. And then from that, it allows us to be able to pick that apart and really figure out like, how can we make this brand like stand out and stand for something at the same time? So we'll pull together their values, their kind of vision for like how they see the company growing, what that brand is about, and also help them position it so that, you know, that it's very attractive to people that see that brand and it communicates a message to them. So we pull that into a brand identity, which comprises of a logo, but and then a color palette and all the touch points, and nowadays, you know, social media, and then we'll build like a full website with like a full user experience for each customer as they come onto the website. And then the final stage is helping them market that to customers. So my business partner that I have now, not the same one I had to begin with, he used to actually be a client of ours. And then we just got on so well, we partnered on a few projects, and his background is all in paid social. So he's the marketing king, you know, absolute nerd when it comes to Facebook ads and LinkedIn, PPC, anything like that. So it was the perfect fit, because I understand marketing, but when it comes to like paid social and stuff, I'm the creative one. I don't.
You can end up
work on
spending.
that,
I mean, what they've done now, and again, like the way they've built these businesses is incredible, because you know, making money while you sleep is like the dream, right? And that's what they're doing. But you know, you can get, if you're a person that knows nothing and you've got an idea, want to start a brand, you can find very quickly you'll spend thousands of dirhams or pounds.
Well, you need to be able to spend at least, I don't know, 10 grand to begin with, just to kind of figure out what's going to work and isn't going to work, and that can be all your money that you have. So if you don't know what you're doing and you can't navigate through that, it can be a terrible mistake and cost you dearly. And I think what a lot of people do as well is they have a pretty crap ad and then they try and push it out, and what you really need is like 15 ads that trying lots of different things and seeing what works best and starting to build that into a funnel of how people are going to engage with it. But I don't know enough about that to go into it. So, you know, I'm more about the creative that's actually going to go out to people. But yeah, anyway, Jamie's been perfect business partner. He's completely different to me. He lives in the shadows, has no Instagram profile, like just loves work.
Funny how he's so good on that side of things, but then he's just like invisible to the world.
Well, I think it's because he knows so much about social media that he's like, actually, I don't want that. So I don't want everyone watching what I do all the time. But yeah. So it helps a lot with Jamie, and then at that point, from his experience, that allows us to really launch brands out. Now, other clients that we work with as well, similar problem. I mean, it's always a similar problem. When you're starting a business, you're trying to articulate a message to the world and you know, have impact onto your customers or consumers or partners or whoever it is you're trying to target. And the other type of clients we have is clients who've been around for say like 10, 15 years, and they're just not ready for the future. You know, they've got a tired out message, company values that don't really make any sense, like work hard and, you know, just stuff like that. And they just want us to come in and really just rip it all to pieces and figure out what's actually special about them and start again. And I think it's so important now for brands to actually have like an authentic personality that fortunately this has created like, you know, quite a great workflow for brand agencies to come in now and really kind of like decipher what is it that's special about you and how can we articulate that message.
But do you find a lot of clients, when you do that, they know the answers, it's just you need to encourage them how to get the answers out?
Like we do these workshops and they're literally just us asking them questions that they know the answers to. But I guess the magic comes from where we take all those answers and we will pull that into like a, you know, a positioning statement or brand messaging or whatever. And, you know, they're experts in their field, and I like to think that, I hate the word expert, but I'd like to think, you know, we've got a lot of expertise in our field, and one of the great things about what we do is we work with clients across nearly all industries, and every industry we get to work with, we do this like immersion session, which is like doing a mini degree within that industry. So like I've been working in blockchain recently and I literally knew nothing about it whatsoever, and we've just been like studying and learning everything we can about it to understand like their world and how we need to be able to talk to other brands in their world. So once you get that knowledge across different industries, we have like a really unique insight that we can give other business owners of, well, we worked with someone who had the same problem but in a different industry, and this is the route we went down, and no one's done that route in your industry, so let's try it. And you know, brands like to try new things now. They're, you know, they're very daring, so it's good.
So you must, in that brain, you must have lodged a lot of information.
Yeah, well, it still disappears. Surprisingly enough, can't always find
not enough room in there.
It happens when you're in your 30s. It starts to disappear a little bit. It's all those shots when you're 20s. So.
Exactly, all the tequila. But when it comes to like building a successful brand, like what would you say defines a successful brand?
I think the founder has a massive part to play in it, and then the team that obviously follows the founder. Both of those things have to be.
But what does it take
important.
when you say, okay, the founder, but like...
Well, I think it's more...
The typical fundamentals of a successful...
For instance, we can create amazing branding and it can be an amazing product. But if it's the founder's got the wrong attitude or you've hired the wrong team, I don't think it's going to be a success. So I'd say that they are a very important element of it. You know, if you've got someone that truly loves what they do and they want to build something great, and it's not like an ego or a money thing, like they really care about what they're doing, then the brand will do incredibly well. Then the rest of it just comes down to, I mean, you know, like anyone building a business, do not give up, keep trying stuff until you get it right, and then build something that's authentic. So part of spending money on branding and marketing is you need to get your branding right before you market, because if you're trying to market something and it doesn't connect to people and people don't feel anything for the brand, then you're not going to get an amazing conversion from it. So invest in getting good branding, and you won't need to invest again. A lot of people always try and find like a quick design agency, like we probably were back in the day, that'll throw something together for you for £100, but you've not really built a brand there. You've got a logo. So once that team starts to grow or the product starts to build, it's quite empty and it's not authentic. So people don't resonate to that, so that you're not going to build lifetime customers. It really depends on the industry though.
So if I come knocking on your door and I've got a concept and you don't agree with that concept, are you going to turn around and say, I don't think we're the right agency for you? Or do you take them on and help them out? So
it really depends on the person again. So if we like the person and they're keen to kind of exploring what that concept is, I'd never say, I don't like your concept. What I would say is, I'm unsure about it. Let's spend some time getting to understand like the market and what problem we're actually trying to solve here. And I will give you an honest opinion whether I think this is the right thing for you to do. We have had like people come in who wanted to pay us a lot of money to do some work, but once we looked into it, like we were like, this is a really bad idea. And I'll be like, we had to refuse it. There's obviously part of you that wants to take it because you want the cash flow to pay the team and everything else, but it's not worth it,
Yeah, because
I don't want to take money off people if I think it's. I feel like I was ripping them off if I feel like the idea is not going to work.
Especially if they've got a stinking attitude. Okay, they want to spend loads of money on it, but they're going to turn around at the end when it's their attitude that's failed and gone, that agency we used.
Of course it is, and they'll put it all on us. And I mean, we always try and. I think every business tries this nowadays, and it's very difficult to achieve. But we say we are an extended part of your team. We're in this project together. We're not a conveyor belt agency. We're not going to throw ideas once you throw us some money. It doesn't work like that. We're here to basically allow you to pull all that information out of your brain. We're going to find out what's special about you and give you a way to tell that story to the rest of the world. If you believe in the process and what we're doing, we'll have amazing outcomes. If you don't, then it was great to meet you, and we have to leave it at that. And that that wasn't overnight that we figured that out. In the beginning, we were just taking on clients from everything, and that was a terrible mistake, because what happens is they become a nightmare client. They didn't want to pay you that much money in the first place. They don't want to listen to you because they don't actually value you, and you don't make any profit on it because you have to keep doing changes and changes and changes, so which stops you from obviously great opportunities. But now we're very, very specific. We'll meet with the founder. We'll see what the vision is. We'll meet the rest of the team. We'll see if there's like a real synergy between like our team and their team. And then if we feel like it's something we can add immense value to, then we're straight in there for the long-term partnership. And we'll add the discount on the first job if that means that we can work with them for the next few years. And some of our clients, it's worked great. Like one of my clients, she opened up a restaurant 5 years ago in Manchester. We still work with her today. And I would consider ourselves like a huge part of their team. And we love being part of it, and we know the brand, really, really well.
Well, it's all about cross-brand promotion, so name it.
I mean, they're called, they're in Manchester.
Okay, so, but we've got a lot of English people.
Okay. So it's called Menagerie.
Okay.
The founder, Karina, is absolutely incredible. I've never met anyone like her. She has just infectious energy, and she's built an amazing concept. And they're obviously, they're holding on for their life at the moment with everything that's going on, because, the hospitality industry has just been ripped to pieces in the UK. So fingers crossed,
Wishing you all the best from Dubai.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it feels kind of harsh.
Maybe you should just move your, if you're listening and watching this, bring your.
I think Menagerie would be an amazing concept in Dubai, and people would love it. But she's a true innovator. Everything that she's ever done, it's just way ahead of everyone else. If you're ever in Manchester as well, let me know,
for sure,
and you need to check it out.
And when it comes, that leads on quite well to the next question. Would be kind of successful brands that you've worked with. Would you define her as one of your successes?
100%. Yeah. It's really strange because what happens when we talk about this question is I go, right, well, I need to tell you brands that you've heard of, but actually I'd say the most successful brands are the ones that you've never heard of, the ones that we really got to be part of. So like big brands that we've worked with, Skyscanner, we've worked with, who else? We worked with Unilever. So we've worked with some of the big dogs. Names, but then we've also we've worked with two guys from Wales who were trying to build their own bank. And this client that I'm working with now, they're called Rare Stone Capital. They're in the blockchain game. Amazing guys, like truly inspiring. I met them in Dubai. Literally the day I landed, he was like, "We have this big boat. Come on the boat, and let's have a few drinks and become friends." And I absolutely love them. I'm so happy to be working with them. They're like the ideal client. And they're doing just some amazing stuff in the space. They basically invest in blockchain projects and cryptocurrency projects. And they take them through the process and then launch them out, and they're just the kings at what they do, just absolute, stellar blokes. And then, Menagerie, being part of something right from the beginning and helping them grow with it, you really do feel like family when you've been working with them for that long. We helped 2 young lads. I'll never forget this brand called Azat Mard. It's like a Armenian influence. It means free man. And they're 2 like young hustlers, fashion brand, great attitude, and we really help them like craft that. They're in like 5 or 6 stores now. They're doing amazing. It's so good to be part of that little journey. And most of them, they've all become friends, like really good friends, the people we've worked with. But I prefer them. I mean, working with big brands is great, obviously. It's challenging. It's like nothing we've ever done before. They're always brands that have been around for a long time. So you might be doing like one of the brands called Erlang. We interviewed about 80 people, just really getting to understand their brand, like non-customers, customers, like why wouldn't you work with them, competitors, just speaking to as many people as possible to really understand their business. And that was incredible. But there's something so exciting about startups, and just like, you get in there and you're just like, what are your dreams? What are your ambitions? How big are they? Right, okay, let's make something amazing.
It excites you, and I suppose gives you a passion as well to like want to make it succeed. But how do you find them?
We've been really lucky. So I spent quite a lot of time really like trying to tell our story online, because I mean we should be good at it because that's what we do, right? And that has brought us a lot of work. So in the same way Instagram contacted us through Instagram, Skyscanner actually found us through Instagram, so that was pretty crazy. And a lot of the other brands, they've either just seen the work that we've done, or they've gone on the website, seen testimonials. But a lot of it, like our website, it doesn't say that much about us. It's just all about showcasing our work. And we found like for us, like that's what speaks volumes. You see a lot of agencies and they'll talk about all their accolades and just pages upon pages about their process, and we're like, right, we just want you to see what we've done for someone else, and if that resonates with you, give us a call and we'll have a conversation and see if we can help you some way.
When you spoke about your friend Stephen telling you to read every book in the industry about branding, what was the book that kind of really was like you would go back and read again because it helped you that much?
There's one called The Brand Gap. I actually read like quite a bit more about like psychology behind design, and that helped me a lot, like consumer psychology.
So what people see when they see your brand.
But do you know what? I actually got the most from just looking at everybody's case studies. So I went through and so there's one branding agency which are called Landor, and they are one of like the biggest brand agencies in the world. And I remember they were like the first one that I found, and I was like, wow, like I think they've got like 40 offices around the world. And I just thought, this is incredible. People actually pay this much money, and they've worked on like Coca-Cola and like airlines and everything.
People will
like,
just go to them because their name.
100%. And they started out in I think it was in San Francisco on a boat. Like that was their first office was on a boat, which is pretty insane. But I think it's something to do with land or something like that.
Getting all their ideas.
Yeah, maybe. It sounds great. We should do that. But anyway, I actually I found the CEO on LinkedIn, and I messaged her because I'd read every single case study they've done and their process and how they did stuff, and watched pretty much all the interviews. And she was called Jane, and I messaged her on LinkedIn. I thought she'll never reply to me, and she sent me like a really long message back about like, do your agency, don't give up, like keep at it. It just really shows you like you can literally message anyone on LinkedIn, you might get a reply. But that really like it taught me a lot. It taught me about like where I wanted to get to, and also seeing that they'd been around for like, I don't know, it's like 70 years or something. Like, so it's possible, it's sustainable what I'm doing, and these people are like the best in the world at doing it. So that really inspired me and helped me along that way. But I wouldn't say any like one book in particular. It's more like the lessons that I learned and the love for design, and just seeing like there's an agency called Design Studio who did like Deliveroo, Airbnb, and they're like just so inspiring. Like they were kind of the reason why we started doing like these big immersive sessions, because I think they like with Airbnb they traveled to like 20 countries and like stayed in each Airbnb, and they really immerse themselves. And I was like, you must need a lot of money to be able to do that, at the time. And I remember thinking, how can we do this like with £100 budget? Because you can't charge a client and say, hey, we'd like to travel the world on your budget so we can get to know your brand, But we've really started to like try and take ideas from how other agencies do stuff and see how that works in our process and just keep perfecting that process along the way.
Yeah. So in terms of inspirations in your industry or your life, like who would you say like genuinely is just the person that you look up to that inspires you the most?
Yeah. So my granddad, he's not with us anymore, but he was like a truly inspiring bloke. Yeah. So just like James Bond, kind of super cool. Like I never heard him swear. I never heard him shout, get angry at anything. He was just like the coolest guy in the world. And
wouldn't you love to be like that?
Oh my God.
Sometimes you lose.
He was so selfless as well. And I'm like, I wish I could just be like 1% like that. Yeah. But I'm not wired the same way as him. We are all a little bit selfish. But he was held hostage by Saddam Hussein in the Gulf War. Like pretty crazy. And he went through everything. Like, he was held hostage for like 7 months and he got through that. And he's just always been like super inspiring. He was called Anthony. I'm named after him. So, I wear the name with honor. And then the other one would be my best friend, Stephen. Like he's, we met when he was really young, like 18 or something, in Manchester. And he was like, I want to build this business, Wall Park, which is like this social media idea that he had, which turned into Social Chain, his company now, and it's just this huge success. And he's just such a really inspiring, like articulates himself so well, and he's so good at taking life experiences and really understanding what they mean, and then like putting that into his life and all of his thinking and pushing it back out to the world. So he's a truly special person, and very fortunate to have him as a friend, because he's really guided me along the way of like, this is ego, this is what you need to be doing, and just kind of bringing me back.
You need friends like that, and it's the true saying, isn't it? You know, your net worth is your network, and you surround yourself with valuable people that help you along the way and generally have your intentions at heart. But
it's interesting because now all of my friends, every single one of them, either like has their own business or is like part of an amazing business, and we have just this like amazing support network now, where, because I know like a lot of guys like struggle to talk each other, but we have this thing called like non-disclosure, where we have to tell each other everything, even if it's really bad. So like you screw it up on a date or whatever it is, like tell the guys. They can give you like honest, good advice if you do it. Although I don't always. Sometimes I tell them after I've made the mistake.
Mate, can I be a part of that group?
Yeah, sure, man. But it's been really good, and they're super supportive. And recently we were all on holiday together, and I just kind of looked around and I thought, do you know what? All of us were completely broke with no idea what to do, and now we're all in a really good position, like 10 years later. And it was just such a nice feeling, like being around like your best friends in the world and feeling like I'm really happy for everyone, because we're all really happy and a happy place in our life. But it's super important. I remember when I was younger, I had loads of friends who were like, this business is never going to work, that's a stupid idea, why are you doing that? You're never going to do anything. Just really negative, like bad people. And I just cut them all out, and I genuinely don't have anyone like that in my life. I don't have anyone who's even just got a bit of a negative attitude. They all look at life like, okay, this has happened and it's really shit, but this is what the opportunity is. This is how you can change yourself. What did you learn from it? And that's that self-reflection and having that circle has helped me tremendously. This whole 5 months that I've been traveling, I've been on my own the majority of the time, and I've made friends and stuff along the way, but I've never felt alone, because I have like this WhatsApp group with my friends where we're either like blasting each other for not burning enough calories that day and doing a calorie competition, or
do you have the old
honestly, I actually had to take it off because I've got like PTSD from the time where we basically went for a month, right, where every day we had a competition to see who burned the most. And it was getting to the point where my mate, honestly Steve, was burning what did he do? He did 7,000 calories in one day. Then he did 12,000 calories in one day.
12,000?
Yeah, it was insane. He was going to the gym for like 7 hours just to win the competition, because that's what he's like.
Hang on, mate, you can walk around and like walk on the treadmill.
Honestly, that would not be enough to burn that. I tried it. I was in Italy. I was walking everywhere, and I was doing like 30,000 steps, and then I looked and I only burnt like 800 calories.
Mate,
so
that's
It was intense.
Cycling though, if you ever do that competition again, mate, get on cycling.
So we started to learn in the end.
which one burns
like
calories?
One of the guys, one of my other best friends, Dom, he would go on a bike for like 2 hours, and we'd wake up and you'd just see he'd already done like 4,000 calories, and you're like, I can't compete with this. So I had to take it off after our little holiday, because I was like, I just need a break from this. Give me nightmares.
That's so good though, because do you know what the thing is? You know, it's okay, we're laughing about it now, but do you know what that shows? Is that you've got friends around you that are pushing you
100%
to be better.
Not even just pushing me, like they are literally running up behind me, all of them, and that's what we're all like to each other. Like nobody wants to get left behind. And we all know that, you know, we're all super talented in what we do, but the one thing that we've all got in common is none of us will ever give up. Like we're super motivated, and all of us came from nothing, and our families had no money, and we just wanted to, you know, to make a different life for ourselves. So
that's so good. I mean, and one thing, you know, we spoke a lot before we started recording this, but one thing that I love about Dubai again is meeting loads of different people from different countries. And I had a similar friend. He's going to be chuffed that I'm going to be mentioning him on the podcast now, but his name's Amelin. He's from Brunei. You know, before him, I'd never met a person from Brunei. And we actually met for a business meeting, and we became really good friends. And you realise, you know, I feel personally that when you meet someone and you've got a good connection with them, I feel it straight away. I'm like, this person's a good guy, or it's not a good guy, or not a good guy, but like I've got something in common.
You know if they're going to be your friend, don't you?
Exactly. You know that, you know, if you know, you'll either see them again or not, and we've actually become really good friends, and you know, he was the first person I did that with the Apple Watch, and every week we'd be like, right, whoever wins this week, you know, goes to, and then we'd send photos to each other, and like we'd be like, oh shit, I left my Apple Watch at home, I've missed my workout, I need to go home, get the Apple Watch, do it again. But it's so good, because it's like I say, you're just constantly around people that are just pushing you to be a better human every day. However, right, enough about fitness. But the travels, I want to talk about the travels, because again, we touched roughly on it anyway. You've got what a lot of people would say is, you know, I'd love to have that life. You've travelled for the last 5 months, you've been able to work, have an income. I hope you've been able to have income.
Yeah, we've been okay.
Otherwise I wouldn't be, but obviously you're working, you're doing what you enjoy, you have an income, you know, like, what's been the best part about kind of what you've been doing for the last 5 months?
Yeah, so if I go back and kind of give it a bit more context. So obviously I was in the UK at the time, and I was actually in Thailand, just having like a little bit of a break, like a mini holiday.
Pre-COVID?
And then COVID hit, like while I was out there.
Oh wow.
So I flew back to the UK, and within 2 days we were completely locked down. Now, our business, we have is split. We have like projects that we do, so like branding and marketing, branding and website projects, and then we have like marketing retainers. So people, you know, that pay us monthly, and we run marketing campaigns for them through paid social. So within 2 weeks, all of our marketing retainers, they all had to cancel. And you know, these clients are, you know, they're like our friends. So they're like, look, we're screwed. I know we're in a contract, but please can we pause this or something? So obviously we just had to do it.
If you don't mind me asking, just in context so people understand, like what you lost from that, like if we talk monetary value.
So in total we lost about £250,000 within literally like 3 weeks. And that's not like money disappeared from our account. That's like money that would have been coming in, and the contract values that, you know, had gone. So it was a big hit. And you know, we had to, you know, trim down the size of the team a little bit. We tried to get out of our office contract. They were actually like really unreasonable. They wouldn't let us out of it, so we had to pay like this termination fee, and we're like, the whole world is closed, like what are we paying for an office for? So we got rid of the office, and that was like, we've had an office since we ever began, you know, that was like our first milestone. And then it got to a point where, you know, it was really tough in the lockdown. Like for me personally, everyone has handled it in a different way. But I'm very fortunate. I'm sat in my beautiful apartment in Manchester, but it's got no balcony, there's no garden or whatever, and suddenly it just starts to feel like a bit of a cage after a while. And you know, Manchester rains every single day, so that doesn't make it any easier. And we're losing all of our clients. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not very happy here. It's kind of why I've ended up here today. But I thought, I'm not very happy here. I feel like I'm in, I feel like I built something. I love what we've done. I love the clients we're working with. But I feel like I'm in a bit of a hamster wheel. I don't feel like I'm progressing again. So I thought, right, I'm going to speak to my business partner about this. And I just said to him, look, we've lost a lot of clients. I don't really know what's going to happen with the business. But one thing I know is I don't want to go back to how things were before, because I wasn't enjoying it. And this is not why I started this, you know. And he said, okay, well, I don't really care about having an office, do you? And I said, well, I think we need it, don't we? You know, so we carried on anyway, you know, I think it was another month without having an office, Zooming clients we normally would have gone down to see, and everything's running perfectly. Actually, productivity has really started to go up now, because I think we were letting people work around their life, whereas you're kind of always trying to fit your life around your work, aren't you? And that was, the same for me, and the same for my business partner as well. So he got to a point where he said, well, I love this new setup. I love this way of working. Fortunately, we had a few projects that were still going, which allowed us to still have a tiny bit of an income to continue going. So anyway, the lockdown starts to come to an end, and I'd spent a bit of time thinking at this point, and I said, right, business partner's Jamie. I said, Jamie, I'm going to get out of here. So I decided that I'm going to go to Portugal. I found there were some cheap flights to go there, and I thought, if I'm going to work from anywhere, like, just let's go and work from another place. I don't want to be here anymore. So I messaged my landlord at the time, and I said, like, look, is there any way I can just get out of my contract here? And he said, yeah, actually, I understand everyone's having a hard time with COVID. If you've been hit badly, just sort of send me what's going on with your business, a little bit of a statement, and I'll speak to the people that own the building, and we should let you out. So they let me out on like 2 days after that. Wow. So I'm like packing up all my stuff. I went and sold my car, sold everything, and I was like, right, let's just be on the road for a bit. We don't know what's going on in the world, and no one knew what was going to happen. But I thought, let's go and be in the sunshine. At least I'll feel happy and I can move around. So I go to Portugal, and I'm working from there for like the first 5 weeks, and then the lockdown gets taken off completely in the UK, and things start going back to normal-ish. And then suddenly I look in our inbox, and there's all these new leads coming in. So I ring my business partner. I'm like, it looks like we might be coming back, Yeah. So let's carry on as we are. Like, I'm going to be here. You're okay with that? And he said, yeah, if that makes you happy, mate, you go and work from Portugal, that's fine. And everyone's working from home, so we carry on doing our work. I'm feeling a lot better as well at this point, because I didn't feel like I was in this cage anymore. I got like a little villa in the middle of nowhere in Portugal, and I'm sat in the sun and I'm working, and I'm like, this is amazing. Why haven't I done this before, And so yeah, I carried on from there. We've not bothered getting an office back. I went from Portugal, South Portugal, then stayed in Lisbon, and then made a friend in Lisbon who was the brand manager for Unilever Domestos. Yeah. They ended up becoming a client.
Is it your girlfriend now? Because
no.
You've got a habit of doing that.
No. No girlfriend. But yeah, no. So she, we get a bit of work, just a friend. And then after that, I went over to Marbella, saw some friends there, had a bit of a birthday party there. And in Spain, the rules had like relaxed quite a lot then, so it was like kind of like normal life, but with masks, obviously. Yeah. And then from Marbella, I went to Italy, and then to Madrid, and then to Barcelona, and then to Mykonos, and then Istanbul, and then this has been the final destination. But that's pretty much, I did like 3-4 weeks in each destination.
That's cool.
Working from a laptop. Yeah. And it's been absolutely fine. Clients, they think it's like brilliant. They're like, I wish I'd done it, Doesn't bother them at all that I'm moving around, as long as the work gets done. And all I've done is just been like super dedicated to, these are the hours I work, but when I finish work, I can go sit on the beach, or I can go for a walk, or I can do this. And then obviously the different time zones plays to your advantage sometimes, because you might be 4 or 5 hours ahead, so you can either start really early and get everything done, or you can take the morning off and then start in the afternoon. But yeah, so it got to a point where I said, I'm not going back to the UK. I don't get why I've never done this before. I'm the happiest I've ever been. We don't need an office, which was saving us like $6,000 a month. So I'm like, that's amazing. Like, we've got that in the business now, so we can, we can pay people a little bit more, and we can have a little bit more money to play around with. And then since then, I had a long conversation again with my business partner about, why are we just working with like clients in London and Manchester? Let's really try and expand and work with people in different areas, because the economy in different countries they're obviously reacting in different ways. So we got a client in Switzerland, we got our first client here, we've got a client, obviously the client in Lisbon, and suddenly we're starting to get clients all over the place, and we're not just relying on that UK income that's coming in. We've now got retainers coming from other countries. So yeah, 4 weeks ago I landed in Dubai, messaged our mutual friend Nikki, said, I think I'm going to set up Noir here. I've really enjoyed moving around, and it's been great, but I feel like I'm missing that feeling of like building something. Yeah,
being in one place. Like, it's like you're living out of a bag all the time, having to pick up.
This is it. Yeah. And I, do you know what though? I have actually really enjoyed just suitcase and your passport and your laptop, and off you go.
It's exciting.
And, you're in a hotel lobby, then you're on a beach, then you're here, then you're there, and it made no difference to work. which really like made me understand as well that we need to give people a lot more freedom to work wherever they want. Like I wouldn't say we've been affected in any way at all of productivity. I would say that productivity is even better, and all of our team are so much happier because they can work wherever they want around their own time. So I kind of hate that we even had an office to begin with. I don't think we needed it. I think business is about relationships. We build great relationships with our clients. We talk to them all the time. Obviously, there's an element of human interaction that's been missing at the moment. But I don't think that you need to be in offices. I don't think that's the only way to do business.
Yeah. So you obviously land in Dubai. You know, your relationship status on LinkedIn has changed, so I'm assuming you're going to be here for the foreseeable.
Relationship status or location?
I call the relationship status for the location.
Oh, right, okay.
Once it sucks you in, done. You know?
Yeah, so you're in love with Dubai then? Okay,
exactly.
So I'm now in a relationship with Dubai.
Exactly,
yeah. Okay, but definitely still single. Just put that one out.
Just in case he's a good looking guy, he's got his own business, you know. Hit him up. We'll do all the social media handles and stuff in a bit. But
let's not do that.
tell us what Dubai's done for you so far.
Yeah, so I just think it's a super inspiring place, to be honest. I'd only ever been here once for 24 hours for a meeting, so I got to see pretty much nothing.
24 hours?
Yeah, it was super fast. It was while I was passing through to somewhere else. There was like a potential client, popped through, had a meeting, left. So I didn't really get to see it at all. Yeah. When I was younger, I actually spent like a year in I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Qatar or Qatar. Qatar, yeah. And I loved it. I loved like the Middle East. I thought this is a super cool place. So I've always wanted to come back this way. So yeah, I'd just say the people, like everyone I've met, like I said before, has just been like, how can I help you? Just super nice. And obviously, you know, it's just a beautiful place to live. I was sat at the Address Marina the other day, and it's just massive pool, incredible view. I'm sat on my laptop working, and I'm just like, not in a million years would I think that I'd be here, you know, sat working. Like, I just appreciate it so much from going back to when I'd moved back to my parents at 27 and I'm sat like crying over my ex-girlfriend, figuring out what I'm going to do with my life, and I'm in debt, to suddenly sitting here with this inspiring city, working with amazing clients, you know, being paid to do what I love. So yeah, it's just it was a really nice feeling. It was literally the other week, and I was like, this is like one of them moments that I think is going to stick in my head. And yeah, I don't want to leave. So my plan is to, you know, try and expand Noir here. I'm working at JLT at the moment. It's nice to have some form of an office and a screen to work from again. And I've just hired our first person here. So we're just going to take it slow.
Some good expansion plans already.
It's been a quick 4 weeks. I still don't feel like I've seen Dubai. So you're going to have to take me out and show me some places.
100%. Now, I know you said you don't feel like you're at the top of the ladder, but if I was to say to you, what's your recipe to success? Yeah,
I really do think it just comes down to one thing, and it's just consistency. Like, the one thing that has propelled me through my life and made sure that I've got to where I have so far is just consistency. I turn up every day. I will not give up. I don't care if I hear people say I'm a failure or whatever it is. I'm going to keep going. And if Noir didn't work, I would go again and again and again. I know now that each year I'm better than I was the last year, because I listen and I take note to what's happening in my life, what experiences I go through, and how I can be a better person. So if I think of it logically, like I'm going to be a better person each year, I'm going to be better than I was, then hopefully I'll be able to achieve different success each year in a different way. So as long as I don't give up, the compounding effect, you know, as you could say, of not giving up means that I'll get to where I want to get. And I would rather fail 1,000 times to get to where I want to be than just give up, when I know if you give up, you're definitely not going to get to where you want to be, are you? So that's not an option for me. I think if you can have that kind of tenacity to just refuse to give up no matter what, and be able to self-reflect. I think self-reflection is really key, because you can keep trying something, but if you're never learning from the first time, then it's obviously not going to work. But yeah, just learn and believe in yourself. I don't think I have like a special set of skills that have allowed me to get to where I am. Like, I have maybe a design eye, and I have like a certain style that I like that's helped us out a lot. But a lot of it has just been, once you get obsessed with something, I'm sure it's the same in your industry, you just really start to enjoy it, and then you get better at it, you know. So and once you get better at it, you can become better than other people at it, and you can sell that as a service to other people. And if you're honest and you do good work with people, then you know, you'll keep getting clients. But that's quite a lot, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the recipe to success. But so just before we go, tell us, where can we all find you? What's the website?
Yeah, thanks, man. So if you want to check out Noir, it's noir.ae. That's our Dubai address, or noiragency.com.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, it's @noiragency, and mine is @Anthony Scott Logan, the full name. But thanks, man. I really enjoyed being on podcasts, and it's just been so nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm looking forward to.
I told you. I said they go on for a while.
Yeah, they
really?
do. Yeah.
But the thing is, I think it gives people a chance, and I want to show people, and I think. And I say this every podcast I do. I don't know if I'm just lucky at the people that I speak to, but everyone that I speak to always has a good story. But I feel like yours is very unique because you actually let me into the fact that you have failed and you admitted that you failed so bad to the point of you retracted and you put your tail between your legs and had to start again. But that reset button has really propelled you into, you know, being into a place where a lot of people would admire being. So thank you very much for also spending the evening to come down and chat to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll. What should we do? We shake hands. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we'll shake hands.
We've been in a room for a while.
Yeah,
now,
I know, exactly.